Tell us a little bit more about sort of what people can expect from DevConnect, what's coming up this year, and why is this a particularly unique DevConnect?
Like Argentina is, I can cover that a bit later, but one of the most crypto active region in the world. Familiarity of crypto in the country is exceeding expectations on all sides in terms of users, in terms of projects. If they can see that crypto payments actually solve their main problem, which is the case, then a massive result. I can share a few very practical things that people can do today if they're listening to that show. If you are listening to this show, so first of all,
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Frontera. My name is Ab. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Bando. I'm with my great friend Kush. He's the founder of Odyssey Labs, and with Nathan Sexer, who's leading all efforts regarding DevCon that's happening in Argentina. So that's why we brought you here, man. We're really excited about DevCon, well, DevConnect. So thank you for coming. How are you?
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm great. Currently in Cannes for HCC. I think it's one of the largest big conference in Europe before DevConnect. So busy week. I'm very happy to be here.
Also, I have to say,
Amazing.
Nathan, I love the hat. Looks great.
Exactly, Latam AC. That's the whole thesis of Frontera. And Nathan, I would love to start first knowing a little bit about you. How's been your story in crypto? How did you end up leading all efforts for DevConnect? Tell us your story, man.
Sure. I joined the space in 2017. I joined actually Consensus via a DeFi project that was called Variable at the time. It was one of the first decentralized stablecoin projects working with like financial derivatives products. So I started working and joining Ethereum via Consensus to work on DeFi projects. And I quickly got involved with the community where I was, so in France, with Ethereum France, actually the main organizer behind HCC. And so I was early on involved with the community as well as very hands-on working on projects, namely these DeFi projects. And so I worked at Consensus for 2 years. After that, I joined a gaming project in the space with some presence in Argentina, by the way. And I've done other stuff. I've worked on ZK technology projects as well, and all these organizing events on the side and being very involved with the Ethereum community, mostly in France and Europe. Also, I've been, for example, maintaining a list of events worldwide that maybe some of you have I've seen, and yeah, I've always been passionate about community management, event organization, and I was involved with HCC early on. Also organized other events such as the DeFi Security Summit, and that led me to actually join the DevConnect team 2 years ago to work on the production of the event. Led me to work on the programming of the whole DevCon last year in Bangkok, and I got the opportunity to lead the team starting this year. So this is my first year leading the team, and this year it's DevConnect happening in Argentina, Buenos Aires in November. So I'm sure we'll cover that, but this is a bit more context regarding my involvement.
So Nathan, we are super excited, and as Ab says, our thesis here is accelerating Latin America. So having DevConnect be in Buenos Aires is really exciting. Before we dive into why Buenos Aires and the parameters that you sort of decided to choose Buenos Aires, tell us a little bit more about sort of what people can expect from DevConnect, what's coming up this year, and why is this a particularly unique DevConnect?
Okay, so I think the timing is very interesting this year. We've been waiting for Ethereum to scale for many years, and now we have Ethereum that scaled, largely thanks to the layer 2 solutions based on Ethereum, such as Base, Optimism, Arbitrum, and other solutions like that. And so now we have the bandwidth to welcome a lot of applications. And that will be a big focus of DevConnect, so among the things you can expect. But I think the timing is very interesting. And then also the location, obviously, like Argentina is, I can cover that a bit later, but one of the most crypto active region in the world, country in the world. And so the familiarity of crypto in the country is exceeding expectations on all sides, in terms of users, in terms of projects, in terms of developers, and on all fields, on all sides. In many bigger, like in the biggest projects, you have developers from Argentina, and just the knowledge of crypto and the usage of crypto in Argentina is very important. And yeah, so the timing, the usage, the local ecosystem, and then many other reasons that makes us super excited to come to Argentina. It's, by the way, it's yeah, people have been asking us to come to Argentina for many years now. I think it started in Osaka, and then people have started announcing DevConnect and DevCon in Argentina even for years, many years repeatedly. So we had to do it at some point, and this is the year.
Yeah, this is the year of Latam, definitely. And I'm really grateful that we started this thing 1 year ago, almost 1 year ago, because we were kind of early being born here and then trying to expand this knowledge. Also, you just mentioned that you decided that Argentina was a really relevant place because of the amount of developers, the usage, the adoption. So, one thing that I'm personally interested is, for example, I love crypto events, right? And obviously, ETHCC looks amazing, like Cannes, the beach, everything that's happening. But in Argentina, I think that, and in Latin America, is more about the real thing, right? So using stablecoins, building different projects, building different products. I would love to know, in your experience, how this event leave leave some mark in the country, because the most important thing is that this will keep going. And we've seen in several parts that might not have such a big ecosystem, like a big event comes, it happens, and then it leaves, and there's not much follow up. So as you're building all the way to Argentina to DevConnect, and what do you expect to be the final result of this huge event in Latin America?
Yeah, it's a good question. So even though Argentina and even Buenos Aires also have the beach, we have big objectives and high expectations of what the impact of DevConnect can be. So first of all, I mean, we started working on growing the ecosystem and actually leveraging the ecosystem for many months now. Even prior to selecting Argentina, we started, of course, connecting with local Argentina people and projects to connect, to get information, and to start activating the community, of course. And this is an ongoing process that we've been doing for the last months as well. So we have a program called Destino DevConnect. We want to support local initiatives, events, and people that want to build up momentum until DevConnect. And we have actually someone full-time in the team working on developing and growing the ecosystem in Argentina. So if you're based in Argentina, you should reach out to Candela Fasano, who's leading all the efforts regarding ecosystem, and she's connecting to many different people. And so this is a growing, this is a very large part of our activities, making sure that we connect to the relevant parties and people and communities and make sure that we leverage the existing ones. I think that's also a big difference with maybe other regions or other events that we've done, is that the existing community is so strong that it's not a matter of creating everything from scratch, but also leveraging existing efforts and making sure that we shine the light on the community organizers and the projects that have been doing an amazing work for years, and we accelerate their development and their growth in the region, and hopefully bringing the entire Ethereum community and beyond into Argentina will make will create a long-lasting impact, and hopefully will accelerate the development. So everything that we'll do will not only be for DevConnect. Hopefully, I mean, DevConnect is part of a larger initiative that we call, that we want to bring Argentina on chain, and DevConnect is just the climax of that larger initiative. This is not something that we own. Like a lot of other communities have been sharing about bringing Argentina on chain. Crecimiento is one, and we have a lot of communities involved in that sense. And I just want to add that DevConnect is just the climax of that initiative. that can hopefully have a long-lasting impact starting from DevConnect. We want to, again, like target, increase the amount of users. We want to have more developers, attract entrepreneurs, not only from Web3, but from Web2, from traditional spaces, like Web2, of course, traditional companies as well. Like we'd love to have, I don't know, Uber accepting crypto, or maybe the Rappi, the local application that everyone use. If they can see what's happening on Ethereum, if they can see that crypto payments actually solve their main problem, which is the case, then a massive result out of DevConnect would be for the Rappi and the like, all the Web2 applications to actually accept crypto leaving DevConnect. So the goal is for them to see and experiment with the local, with the technologies that exist today, stablecoins, payment solutions, integrations with various solutions, and the interoperability of Ethereum. That would be a massive result. And then, of course, we'll be talking with regulators, universities will be involved. We want as much students as possible to come and join and learn about Ethereum. And ideally, all this, will be the start of a new phase for Argentina, hopefully, and accelerate the existing effort.
Yeah, I mean, I think as you said, right, this whole thesis behind bringing Argentina on chain, bow, love the meme, and have loved really seeing sort of everybody push that on X and so forth, is really exciting. I would love to get a sense for, because I think this is a problem with crypto, like all these conferences is like you get a really big conference like in Bogota, and then it just like, what happens afterwards? There's oftentimes like very little follow-on that occurs. And so you mentioned a lot of initiatives, but how's it actually been going when it comes to bringing people, making sure that there's this long-term alignment? How are you thinking about ensuring that we are creating this like long-term vision? Are you having conversations already with some of the kind of important players in the region? And what are their takes on how do we ensure that this is, not just a, peak and then everything comes crashing down afterwards, but actually we create this long-term, long-sustaining movement? So how do you think about building this? Because I think for me, and like what's particularly relevant for this audience, is a lot of people trying to figure out how can they meaningfully engage with the region without it being ephemeral and one-off, right? So give us a sense for like how you're thinking about building this out and what other people can take away from deploying similar strategies.
So I think it's very much in line with the way we have been doing DevCon and DevConnect in the past, meaning that the goal is not for the DevCon and DevConnect team to do everything, and on the quite the opposite. Like we want to leverage and empower local communities and community organizers and entrepreneurs and people on the ground to have more capability to do more stuff. So we are working very closely with all the communities on the ground. Crecimiento I've mentioned, Odyssea Labs is one. All the like Ethereum Argentina, Iskipu, Seed Latam, all the large community organizations that have been very active for a long time. This is for us, in our opinion, like a good way to give them more power, more visibility, because they will be continuing the work on the ground. So again, like for example, we're organizing a big event on November 18. It will be in Spanish and it will be organized by the local communities. I mean, we are coordinating, of course, we're supporting them. We're giving the space in the main venue, like production support and everything. But the goal is for them to own the brand, to own the programming, to really own the marketing of the event. And this is maybe a brand that will continue, but most importantly, like this is an effort that they will benefit from. And this is one example of everything that we do in the region, is to empower others rather than doing everything ourselves that will disappear after the event. Destino DevConnect is a very good example of that as well. We are giving up to $1,000 to basically anyone aligned with Ethereum and the values and talking about DevConnect, but for them to independently organize their own event and to hopefully keep doing some events on the ground. So yeah, again, like we empower others to do as much as possible, and yeah, this is again very aligned with the DevConnect and DevCon values.
Yeah, I think that taking the other side of the argument, it's also the responsibility of the local people to make sure that this keeps happening and there's a deep impact. Because sometimes I think that in Latin America, culturally, there's a lot of people that is used to receive things, and in crypto, we're but used to receive like everything free and great. I mean, obviously, the connect is gonna be in. I don't know Buenos Aires, but I can assure you, it's gonna be in an amazing venue. I mean, you go to those events and you can stay there for 3 days and don't leave. Like you can eat for free, you can watch conferences that are like rockstar keynotes. So it's super fun. But the problem is that people are a lot of people in the world and also in Latin America, they're used to get like the suite, but not getting the work or not putting the work that we need to do afterwards. It's also true that a big problem in our region is that there is a lot of opportunity, but there is not a lot of funding. In Frontera, we just published an essay that we called it the LATAM trilemma. That is, we have a lot of problems, therefore there is a big opportunity. We don't have that much founders. That's a reality, and we don't have funding. The problem, and when you see the multiples of VCs investing in LATAM versus other regions, LATAM is the best, has the best returns because of such scarce capital. So they don't invest in a lot of companies. They only invest like in top performing ones, and we miss out in a lot of opportunities. So putting the other, like the final argument is, it's also a responsibility to make sure that this keeps happening, and I'm sure that the Argentinian community will make that happen. And they have such an amazing energy that it's really it's impressive.
Yeah, I think this is well put. Of course, like it is a responsibility of the local communities to keep being active after we leave. But we'll do everything that we can to empower them to do that, and hopefully we'll set the right environment for them to do so. I think to your point, like people will need to understand the potential of DevConnect coming to Argentina, and they need to seize the opportunity that it represents for them, for their project, and also for the ecosystem. I think that the exposure that their projects will potentially get in Argentina is massive. We're also coming to support the local ecosystem, and I think if they motivated and they want to build products, if they want to showcase their product, there will be hackathons. They need to come and build and show what they're capable of. We'll do our best to showcase also Argentina-based products and founders, because we want, again, with DevConnect to have like showcase applications, and hopefully they can benefit from that. But I think people really need to think about what they want to come up with at DevConnect and think about a strategy on how to make the best of it, because I think it can be a massive opportunity to many people.
We're so excited, and I think this really does represent this really exciting opportunity to make a meaningful dent, right? I mean, maybe there's a world where, again, some of the bigger ride sharing apps like Rappi open up their doors and they say, hey, like we'll accept USDC on Optimism, right? And that is a reality. So given that our audience as well, Nathan, is like sort of a lot of decision makers at some of these foundations and protocols that in theory are very interested in driving forth this adoption, like what would your recommendations to them be? We already talked about like building sort of longer term strategies, but like practically speaking, like what, and let's talk about like how they can engage, but let's talk also about like how builders can engage. You mentioned Gadu as a resource, but let's get really practical here on like how do we go from, oh, there's a world where like Rappi accepts USDC to to where we are today, and there's sort of a lot of things to get done. So between now and then, like what should people be doing over the course of the next 3 to 4 months to make sure that DevConnect is a massive success, and thereafter as well.
Okay, then I can share a few very practical things that people can do today if they're listening to that show. So if you are listening to this show, so first of all, you should buy your DevConnect ticket. We released the tickets a few weeks ago. This is the first step to attend DevConnect, the main event. So there will be many events happening across the city, but there will be a main event where many events will happen, many things will happen beyond events as well. So we'll have a big event on the 17th, on the 18th, the Spanish-speaking one, and like about 20 to 30 events happening in the main venue, including keynotes, workshops, and hackathons and build-a-thons and many different activations. So buying your ticket is, I think, the first step. We have discounted tickets for locals. With Argentina, if you're from Argentina, you can use Quark ID using ZK technology to prove your identity and claim a discount, as well as ZK Passport. If you're from LATAM, we also have discounts for people coming from LATAM. And so again, buying your ticket is a good first step. But then I've mentioned also previously Destino DevConnect. If you want to organize an event from now to November, you can apply to Destino DevConnect and get a grant to organize an event. Another aspect, if you're a builder, if you have an application to showcase, then you should apply to our supporters program. And a big focus, as I mentioned previously, is to showcase applications and give our attendees a touch and feel experience of what Ethereum could be and feel like, and what if our society would be based on Ethereum. This is the feeling that we want to show, and there are many applications that we want. And so if you're building an application, you should apply to this program, and that's another way. We'll work with like local press partners as well. So if you have a media or if you're a content creator, you should apply to our press partnership program. I guess other things, like very concretely, like we mentioned, traditional companies, institutions, regulators. So I guess traditional companies, like if you have contacts at Rabbi or local people from, I don't know, Uber or any app that you use on a daily basis, I think you should put them in touch with us, because we will do our best to convince them to accept crypto. This is something that you can do. If you know people from institutions or regulators or people working in public services, we want to have them present at DevConnect, and we'll show them, what Ethereum feels like, and hopefully that will, help to increase Ethereum adoption and knowledge in the region. And then I would say also, like, if you have talk to DevConnect, like to your friends, like to your Web2 friends, like traditional people working in traditional companies, all your normies friends, like your family, like we'd love to have them actually. Like we will build content for normies and content for newcomers generally, in Spanish, in English as well, mostly Spanish, inside the venue. And so you should tell everyone to come to DevConnect. And then therefore, maybe lastly, there are a few ways that we haven't posted about yet, but we will also, as we've done in previous events, release community hubs. So those are ways for communities to get organized inside the venue and do their own programming. And last but not least, the volunteers. If you want to volunteer, you will soon be able to apply and get involved with the biggest event in Argentina related to crypto, and the biggest actually crypto event in the world. So I think it's a very, very good opportunity to support the event and get involved. And hopefully those were a few practical ways to get involved with DevConnect and spread the word.
Amazing, Nathan. Thank you for coming to Frontera. We're really excited. I think that it's kind of funny that in Latin America, or at least in Mexico, I'm really happy that this is happening in Argentina, but it's still so far away. I think that it's farther than Europe, flying. It's like 11 hours. This continent is huge, but it's our continent. It's similar cultures, the same language. So finally, how can people know more about you, about DevConnect? What's the website? What's your Twitter? What's the best way to put it, to reach out?
So devconnect.org would be the best way to go. We're present, very active on X. You can follow the EF DevCon handle. My name also is Nathan Sexer. I'm sharing the update there oftentimes. So those are 3 places you can follow us actively. we're of course on Farcaster and other decentralized social platform. We have a newsletter on Paragraph that you can find. That is a decentralized newsletter service as well that you will find on our website. Yeah, those are a few ways.
Amazing. Perfect. Well, so we'll keep covering more news about DevConnect in Argentina here in Frontera. We're playing locals. So let's make this happen. You can follow Kush at 0xkush. You can follow me at AbrahamCR. And as always, thank you and see you next time. Thank you guys.